Hi guys, welcome to this 30-minute floor class, which is a shorter version of my traditional Vinyasa class that you can find at Abbi Santosha Yoga. So we will move through some poses, we will incorporate strength and flexibility, but we will also have a little bit of peace, so we'll have our relaxing time at the beginning, our final Shavasana at the end, and we'll just get that body worked and floored. So bringing in whatever feels good, if that's a pillow or a blanket, just for that nice bit of relaxing time at the beginning. And when you're feeling ready, you can settle down onto the mat. Finding any position that feels super comfortable. Getting out any last wiggles, any last movements. And then letting the body sink down into the ground. Starting with a body scan, we'll bring that focus to those toes. Any last wiggles, any last squeezes in the feet before allowing them to completely release. The legs and the calves and the thighs, noticing any last movements, any last tension, allowing it to release. Coming to those hips, allowing them to sink even deeper down into the ground. Breath. And focus comes to that belly as it rises and falls with our inhales and exhales. Nice and gentle movements. Moving up to the chest, again feeling it expand with the breaths in. Release further into the mat with every breath out. The shoulders are released, holding no tension. Arms and hands relax wherever that feels comfortable, if that's on the ground or on the belly. Next, releasing all tension, the head is sinking down into the ground. Releasing any scrunches of the face. Everything relaxed. And we're connecting to that breath. Movement with the breath throughout. I'll help you along with this with lots of cues for breathing. But just taking these next few moments to really connect with that natural rhythm. Just gentle inhales and gentle exhales. Open our class in our usual way, taking those inhales and exhales together to set that intention to connect with the breath and move through this practice flowing through. Emptying the lungs wherever you are, taking a nice deep breath in through the nose and release through the mouth. One more. Returning to that natural rhythm of breath, rising those knees up to the chest, wrapping the arms around them, starting with that hug. Taking a sway left and right here, or just finding stillness, whatever feels nice. And in whichever way feels comfortable, we'll rise up into a seated position. Legs crossed or legs out, again choosing what feels comfortable. Starting with some wrist warm-ups here, we use our wrists a lot, lots of downward dogs, lots of floors. We can bring those hands to prayer center, take the hands down to the ground, rising up. Just getting those wrists ready. Any other rotations? Finding that tall spine. Going for some shoulder rolls next. Again, we're really working these shoulders today. Feeling that full rotation. Changing the direction of those shoulder rolls, opening that chest. Shoulders relaxing down away from the ears, any other wiggles, starting with some neck circles. Taking these the other direction. Keeping that spine nice and tall. Any last movements, any last wiggles. And from here we'll get into our tabletop position, whichever way feels good, either swinging the legs out or tipping forwards onto those knees. We're finding that alignment. We've got our wrists, elbows and shoulders all in line, knees in line with the hips and about hip distance apart. Starting with those sways left and right. Getting out any clunks, any clicks. We can either keep this left and right sway, or we can go round in circles down to the heels and back. Just checking in with what feels good in your body. If you're doing the sweeping round, we'll go the opposite direction as well. Keep that balance. Back to tabletop. And we'll just warm the back up with our cat-cows. As we breathe in, push the belly down to the mat, lift the gaze. And breathe out, tuck the chin, round the shoulders, curve the spine. Breathe in, drop the belly for cow. Breathe out, tuck the chin, round up for cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Keeping these movements going with your own breath. Noticing how it feels down the back, down the spine, everything nice and warm. And we'll take 2 more of each pause wherever you are. No rush to get back to tabletop. Taking any last movements. And then we'll find our first downward dog. So we're stepping our feet back into plank first to find that position, find that distance between our hands and our toes. And from here we're using those hips, pushing them up to the ceiling, pushing that chest through the arms. It's a real active push of those hands against the mat. on the ground, wherever you're doing this practice. Actively pushing that chest through. And we can start by stretching out those hamstrings, some lifting and lowering of the feet and the heels. Walking the dog. Getting everything used to being in this position. Like I said, we're here quite a lot. Shift forwards onto those toes and back. Anything that feels nice here. You're just getting the body used to being here. The head used to being upside down. And we'll start with some sun salutations. So bringing the feet nice and close, we're going high on those tiptoes. In whichever way feels comfortable to you, we want the feet to the hands. So that could be walking on those tiptoes or doing some little jumps. And then when we get to the front, we're finding a forward fold. The legs can be straight or a small micro bend in the knee, whatever feels good. And we're just finding a dangle. Connecting with that breath. Nice and steady. And tucking the chin to the chest, we'll round the body up one vertebrae at a time. No hurry to get to standing. Taking a nice breath when we get there. Any movements, any wiggles. On your next inhale, rising those hands up to the ceiling. Exhale, we fold forwards. Inhale, bring those hands to the shins, looking forwards, nice flat back. Exhale, folding forwards, bringing the hands to the mat, bending the knees if we need to. Inhale, we step back into that plank position. Exhale, either knees up or knees down, lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale, we find that lift, lifting up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, we tuck those toes, pushing back to our downward dog. And again, taking that walk the dog if it feels nice. High on the tiptoes, we're walking the feet to the hands or taking some hops. Whatever feels good, finding that fold. Little sways across the hips. And we'll take that one more time, tucking the chin to the chest, rounding up. Any wiggles at the top of the mat. Next inhale, rising those hands to the ceiling. Exhale, folding forwards. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant those hands. Inhale, stepping back, finding that plank. Exhale, knees up or knees down, we're lowering down. Inhale, we're lifting. Exhale, lowering. Inhaling, tucking those toes back to downward dog. We're going into our floor side, floor part of our class. I'm going to show you it from both sides, so you'll see it from the back and from the front. So starting on the right, we bring those feet nice and close, high on the tiptoes, send that right foot up to the sky. It doesn't need to get super high, we just want to point that toe, look to the space between the thumbs, and we're stepping that foot through. If we can't get all the way there, get as far as you can, help it through. And we'll rise up, find a high lunge, sinking nice and low into those hips. We're really reaching those fingers up, sinking nice and low. And then we'll bring those hands down to the mat, framing that front foot. Stepping back into plank and taking our first vinyasa. So knees up or knees down, we're exhaling to lower. Inhaling to lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale back to downward dog. Whatever we do on the right, we do on the left. So high on those tiptoes, left foot goes up to the sky, pointing that toe, looking to the thumbs and stepping that foot through, helping it if we need to, rising to that high lunge, sinking into the hips. Again, reaching those fingers up. Gaze can go up if you're feeling steady. Taking those hands down to the mat, framing the front foot, stepping back into plank, knees up or knees down, lowering down with the exhale. Lifting with the inhale, lowering exhale, lifting inhale. Each time we do it, we add something on to our sequence. So we're coming high on those tiptoes, right foot goes up to the sky. Step the foot through, we're rising up, finding a high lunge. Sinking into those hips. Back foot is going to turn parallel with the back of the mat, or just the back of the ground, wherever you are. Taking our arms out, front knee stays nice and bent. Arms go out, stretching them away from each other, and the gaze goes over this front hand. Finding our warrior two. And we're flipping that front palm, reaching to the front and rising up. Peaceful warrior. This front leg stays nice and bent. Left hand can relax on that leg, or come ready for a bind, whatever feels nice. Arms go back, warrior two, gaze over that front hand. And the back palm flips all the way down, framing that front foot, stepping back into that plank, taking that vinyasa. Exhale to lower, inhale to lift, exhale down, inhale lift. Showing you those from the front this time, high on the tiptoes. Left foot goes up to the sky, look to the space, step the foot through and rise to our high lunge. Sinking into those hips. Back foot turns, taking those arms out, warrior two. Gaze goes over that front hand. We're actively reaching those fingertips away from each other. And flipping the front palm, reaching forward, rising up. Peaceful warrior. Again, this hand resting on the leg or behind for a bind. Taking those arms out, warrior two. And back palm flips all the way down. Stepping back, taking that vinyasa. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Every time we come back to this downward dog, we're actively pushing that chest through. We can be walking the dog, lifting and lowering the heels, checking in with those hamstrings. And we'll add one more pause to this flow. Coming high on those tiptoes, right foot goes to the sky. Look to the thumbs, stepping it through, rising to that high lunge, sinking into the hips. Back foot turns, arms go out, warrior two. Fingertips stretching away, gaze over that front hand. And we're flipping, reaching and rising. Peaceful warrior. Arm on leg or arm behind. Straightening this front leg, we'll reach this front hand towards the front of the mat, and then all the way down to the inside of that front leg. Left hand rises up to the ceiling and we're stacking those shoulders. So I'm using my hand, pushing that chest through, rising this hand up to the ceiling. A Trikonasana triangle pose. Keeping that breath flowing. Bending that front knee, rising up. Warrior two, gaze over the front. Back palm flips all the way down. Taking that vinyasa. And in the same way that you've had, if you want to go full chaturanga, we come onto those tiptoes, shift the weight forwards, lower almost down to the ground but hover. Flip those toes, rise up, upward dog. And then flip those toes all the way up to downward. Just taking whichever vinyasa feels good for you. Last one, we'll do that on the left, high on the tiptoes, left foot up to the ceiling, step the foot through. Rise into our high lunge, sinking into the hips. Back foot turns, arms go out, warrior two. And the flip, reach and rise, peaceful warrior. Front knee nice and bent. We're straightening that front leg, reaching forwards and all the way down. As the right hand rises this time, we stack those shoulders, reaching up. Trikonasana triangle. Keeping that breath nice and steady. Bending that front knee, rising up. Warrior two. And flip all the way down. Taking whichever vinyasa feels good. If you're with me, doing your chaturanga, shifting the weight forwards. Exhaling to lower. Flipping those toes, inhaling, lift. And exhaling, coming back. Meeting back in downward dog. So in a full length vinyasa class, we'd have some breaks in between, but we're going straight into a balance. So we haven't got long left. High on those tiptoes, right foot goes up to the ceiling, step the foot through, rise into our high lunge. We'll find our warrior three balance for this one. So we're bringing those hands to prayer center. This back foot is going to step forwards as many times as we need it to, before we can float it behind. Lifting that back leg, pointing that back toe. Finding that balance. Warrior three. And float the hands behind. Hands forwards. Back to prayer center. And then step that foot back, rising back to a high lunge. Well done if you stuck with it. Bringing those hands down to the mat. Stepping back into plank, an option here for either doing a vinyasa or just going straight to downward dog. Taking that balance on the other side, high on those tiptoes, left foot up to the ceiling, step the foot through, rise to that high lunge, sinking into the hips. Hands come to prayer center, stepping that back foot forwards as many times as we need, testing that balance on the other side. Pointing those back toes, lifting the back leg. Breathing through our warrior three. Hands float back. And forwards. Back to prayer center. Keep that breath steady. And we're stepping back into plank, rising to that high lunge, sinking into the hips. Bringing the hands down, stepping back, one more vinyasa or just into downward dog. Last chance, checking into those hamstrings, seeing how they're feeling now. And then we can bring the knees down to the mat. Take any stretches, any breaths, any wiggles. And then bringing that bum down to the ground, down to the mat. Bringing back that pillow, anything else that you need to get nice and comfortable. And relaxing down. Taking any of those wiggles that we need. Anything that feels good, if bringing the knees together in the middle and taking the legs out feels nice, then go for it. Or just a full relax down on the mat. And we're connecting with that breath, allowing everything to slow. Those gentle inhales, gentle exhales. Taking our body scan from the top down this time. Checking in with that face and the head. Allowing everything to release. The shoulders are relaxing down into the ground. Arms and hands released. Chest and the belly are gently rising and falling with the breath. Releasing any tension that doesn't serve us. Hips are sinking down even deeper into the ground. Legs releasing any tension. Those feet and toes completely relaxed. Enjoying this moment of stillness here in your closing Shavasana. stretch, taking those arms up and over the head, reaching those fingers away from the toes, taking some deep breaths here, maybe even a yawn. And then we'll bring those knees back to the chest, find that hug from the beginning. Stillness or the gentle rock side to side. And in whichever way feels comfortable, coming up back to that seated position. Eyes closed or a soft gaze down to the mat. Tall spine, shoulders relaxed down. And we'll close our class in our usual way with our inhales and exhales together. So emptying those lungs, taking a nice deep breath in through the nose, release through the mouth. One nice deep inhale, and exhale. Return to that natural rhythm of breath, bringing the hands together to prayer center, to our Anjali Mudra. And bowing the head over the hands, or that full bow down to the ground as our gesture of thanks. Thanking yourself for connecting with your breath today, connecting that breath and that movement. And as always, a big thank you from me for joining. I hope you enjoyed that 30-minute flow. If you did and you want a full length one, you know where to find me, and just let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching, guys.